It's been about 6 months since Dispatch finished releasing all of its episodes, and after the game briefly went mainstream, I wanted to come back and see how it actually holds up today. Hey guys, it's Valerian, and in this video, I'm taking a retrospective look at Dispatch, talking about the story, the experience, and whether it holds up 6 months later. Most players experience Dispatch one episode at a time, waiting each week to see what happened next. I'd say that's one of the catalysts that helped Dispatch gain traction, but by the time I started, every episode was already out, so I basically binged it like a full season of a show, which is awesome because I could indulge myself in one day, which I'm sure many people share a similar experience. At first, that sounded like the best way to play it, and yes, while it was, I think I missed out on those weekly excitements of new episodes. But then again, that did just give me more of a reason to replay it more than once. When I first started Dispatch, I was really into it. The characters were interesting, the voice acting was solid, the art direction and the music choice was also really spot on, absolutely incredible. And the choices made me feel like I was shaping the story in real time, where I'd be trying to think like Robert, or trying to think what Robert would do in this situation. Because I was playing all in one go, I got really invested really quickly. And there was no waiting around. I could just jump straight into the next episode, whether things got intense, and be completely up to date and not forget all the key moments, as well as remember all the shite decisions I made. Never in my life where I've played a game where I can genuinely say that I enjoyed every character in the game. Everyone seemed so well thought out, from personality to witty dialogue and line delivery. All the voice actors deliver, and I'm including the villains like Shroud and Toxic. Now hear me out as I say it with a passion, but I am Team Invisigal, and overall she just wins, because for her character being full of flaws and at the times in the beginning almost annoying and childlike, we start to understand her, how she was lost early on. She was a person with villain powers thinking she's no good to be a hero. Invisigal from episode 1 is completely different from Invisigal episode 8 Good Ending, because she was at her lowest, and yet thanks to Robert, the guy that was rooting for her from the start, from being a nobody and alone to straight up taking a bullet for someone else, I'm sure a lot of people can vouch on just how epic the moment was. And then, with the rest of the cast, I enjoyed every single one, from Blonde Blazer, the perfect hero, to Chase, the Black Einstein, the guy with no filter, to the Z team as a whole. All I see is perfection. Blonde Blazer being our beacon of hope, helping Robert get back up on his 2 feet with genuine good intentions, and some spicier intentions if y'all chose Team Blazer. Chase really did feel like a cool uncle that's just there to support Robert at his lowest, and never leave him behind. He helped Robert get the job at STN to help Robert from being a crying bitch baby boy, as well as saying the most vile bits of vocabulary I have ever heard. And lastly, the Z team. Where do I even begin? This roster of heroes were not treated differently. I'd say they all felt like main characters because everyone had an involvement and time to shine, and that's why everyone on the Z team is liked, because Ad hoc made each character interact strongly with their personalities, like Flambe being the hot-headed guy he is, or Prism being that sassy diva she is, as well as Punch Up for being that little lucky charm, and Sonar, well, just being Sonar, as well as the rest of the characters that I was always rooting for, and with my replay of the game, it felt even better with that feels at home energy. Overall, Ad hoc did an incredible job with giving us likable characters that are simple. Actually, that's an understatement. They are all so wacky, yet I love it, and that's why they are also phenomenal. One thing I notice is that while the choices feel important when you're making them, once the story is over, you kind of realize that a lot of the outcomes end up pretty similar. All my replays did have different outcomes. That doesn't ruin the experience, but it does mean I didn't feel a huge urge to replay the game just to see every possible path, but yet somehow I still did. Like, if you think about it, there shouldn't be any replayability if you know how the game's endings are, without being spoiled on the outcomes. But for me, I didn't care. I simply just wanted to continue and go again and seeing my hard work and decisions pay off just to see that small difference. One final comment I'll add to the section is I did binge play through it all, so it could be the reason for me enjoying the second as well as the third playthrough all at once. This patch feels less like a traditional game and more like an interactive TV series, which is both its biggest strength and its biggest weakness. Many could say this is like a Netflix game where it can be on a streaming platform and you could give those inputs, besides the interactive cutscenes and the dispatching having a rework. So, depending on what you're looking for, you might either love that or feel like you're barely playing a game at all. So, it really depends if the game is for you or not. What I do find interesting is there is no silent option. What many could have expected is the three options left, top, and right, but at the bottom, silence was never the option. I'd say this was a crucial decision, forcing players to really interact with the game and make the decisions in the game more personal. Because I played Dispatch after the full release, I completely missed all the weekly hype, the discussions, and the people theorizing about what could happen next. And looking back, I think that hype probably helped the game feel bigger and more exciting while it was coming out. Without that community discussion, the experience felt more contained, like I just played a good story and moved on, which does make me wonder how the game's popularity could have been affected had it been fully released all at once. For me, I believe it could have made the popularity train shorter, so it definitely was a good decision to help keep relevancy and give Dispatch more time to shine before the inevitable hype dying down, much like Black Myth Wukong, which had such a massive popularity back in the day, and the hype died almost immediately after everyone finished the game. 6 months later, I'd say Dispatch is worth playing if you enjoy story-driven games, especially ones focused on the dialogue and the characters, and definitely worth playing again for the making of this video. I'd say this game is even better replayed after a few months of completion, like you know how to play, but you more or less know what will happen, some things you might forget, but I think that's just the best part for you to sort of rediscover your decisions and enjoy those decisions with Blazer or Invisi, as well as vibing to the amazing soundtrack. Right now, there's still no clear confirmation about a second season, just that the team at Ad Hoc is thinking about it, which kinda leaves the game in a weird spot. I know most of the voice actors for the game would love for more, just as Aaron Paul said, which is awesome news to hear. If Season 2 does happen, it could bring a lot of attention back to the first one and make replaying it feel more worthwhile, but if it never gets continued, it makes me wonder if it'll be forgotten. But I'm not really worried, because the game is coming to Xbox in the summer and giving it more spotlight and hopefully more funding, which could strengthen the chances of Season 2. For me personally, I enjoyed my time with Dispatch, but I also feel like I experienced it in a completely different way from the people who played it as it released. Binge playing it made the story feel more continuous, but it also made the weaker parts more noticeable. I didn't get the suspense of waiting a week, but I also didn't have the frustration of cliffhangers. So in a weird way, I got a smoother but less exciting version of the experience, but nonetheless, I had enough fun to replay it 3 times. 6 months later, I still think Dispatch is a solid narrative game with good writing and strong characters, but I also think its episodic format did a lot of heavy lifting when it came to how people remember it, as well as some of the wilder scenes that I remember seeing online before playing the game. If you play it today, all at once like I did, it's still good, but it might not feel as special as it did during its original release window. If anything, anyone that gets the game, having never played it before, try and wait out the episodes, at least daily, or between 2-day breaks, to feel some more suspense. If you played Dispatch weekly, I'm actually curious if you think that made the game better or worse compared to playing it all in one go. And if its second season gets announced, I'll probably check it out and just see how they build on what they started here. Anyways, that was Dispatch 6 months later. I just also want to comment that this sort of video is a one-off. I'm not an analytical channel, but Dispatch somehow made me want to make a video like this one. Anyways, I'm Valerian, thanks for watching, see you guys.